I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and did all my schooling in Virginia until the very last quarter of my senior year. I came to St. Paul, arriving Easter Sunday in a snowstorm, thought I'd made a terrible mistake, and made my way to Hamline University for a special invitational program, just that one quarter of my senior year. Well, I met Kathleen at Hamline. She was also a senior. I returned to Virginia to my college to graduate, and a week later I was in New Jersey in a Rutgers graduate program, an MBA program. And at the end of that summer, Kathleen and her friend Sue, also from Hamline, came to New York. They obtained an apartment in the same apartment building that I was in. And my roommate, a fellow Rutgers MBA student, and I, we each married the two of them. Kathleen was just easy to be with and very, very enjoyable. While I was in the Army, three of us started a consulting firm in Ohio. And our company wrote a one-year management contract with the bridge company. Kathleen and I came, and Christine came because she was born in Ohio. And she rode in the front seat between us in a front-facing seat. Because that's the way it was done then.
Growing up in Alexandria, I'm the oldest of three, the younger brother Jeff and sister Rebecca. Our mom was what you'd call a stay-at-home mom. But when I think of that, she really didn't stay at home. It wasn't an appropriate title for her. She was busy everywhere, busy in the schools, or busy at church, or busy in other local organizations. If she was home, she was doing projects for, for those organizations.
The bookstore idea, Kathleen always said, was given to her by Christine's husband, Sean Riley.
Sean and my mom both had that in common. They loved to read. Sean thought it would be fun. He thought there needed to be a local independent bookstore in Alexandria, and he would joke with my mom, say, "You should open a bookstore," and she would laugh. And he said, "Well, I've always wanted to, but you should do it. I can't. I have these other things going on, and you should do it." And I don't know, we were all shocked when she did.
So one night, before Kathleen and I were 60 years old, we were at supper one winter night, and she says to me, "I'm going to start a bookstore." And I said, "You are?" She says, "Yeah, you never listened to me." I said, "Well, I didn't think you were serious." That's how it began.
They both were so different in so many ways. And as I got older, sometimes I even wondered, how did they become interested in each other? And ultimately, what was important to both of them, I think, their interests were in different hobbies or what they liked to do. But their core values and their curiosity and interest in people and passion to do what they could for this community and beyond, they just matched up so well.
Kathleen's long interest in public education for every child, no matter what their background, inspired her to follow her mother. Some years after her mother was on our local 206 school board for a decade, Kathleen was inspired to run, elected, and served 3 terms. So we've long had an interest in public education. The biggest project that Kathleen and I were involved in for the community was the new high school. Terry Quist asked Kathleen and me if we would lead this effort for the district. And I said to Terry, "Well, has this ever been done before? Has there ever been a greenfield high school site built in Minnesota through a combination of public and private money?" The answer was no, and I said, "Then we should do it here and be the first." And ultimately, several million dollars was raised, and the bond referendum passed handily. In the case of the Andrea, the Echo Press ran a front page article in the summer of the pandemic that said the Andrea's board needed to close it within 90 days. They were running out of money. And I talked to Kathleen and said, if it closes, how will it ever restart? The people that make it work will be gone. So I called up Sally Smith and said, Sally, this is a situation. Kathleen and I are willing to donate this amount. Will you and Brent match it? And then I kept calling other people. I called Mark Watkins, and I just kept calling. And that's how it happened. Operating entities work hard every year just to keep their doors open. So when they have a need that's beyond their budget, they really have a terrible struggle. So years ago, when the battered women's shelter in town needed a total new roof because there were massive leaks, they couldn't handle that in a budget. How do you raise money for that? A community foundation does for local operating nonprofits what they cannot do for themselves.
This recognition would have been very appreciated by my mom. Privately would tell me that, she didn't need or want all the attention, but she would be very honored and humbled. She cared about the community foundation here, and I always attended this event, so now it's interesting that she's being remembered and honored. It means a lot to all of us.
I wish Kathleen could be here to jointly with me receive this award. We're so grateful and humbled to receive this award. Kathleen loved this community so much, and we always felt a responsibility to give back to the state and to the community. That has been so good for us, and such a fine place to raise our family, our children, even our grandchildren in this community.